Hello, and welcome to PBH 435, Health Studies of Dangerous Drugs, or the cross-listed graduate section HED 635. My name is Sheila Clark, and I'm going to be your professor for this semester. I've got on your screen a couple of different ways to reach me, either through email or my Google Voice number, where I do welcome you to either call and leave a voicemail or to go ahead and text. If you are on campus or in Las Vegas, you're more than welcome to come by my office, which is in the Bigelow Health Sciences building, office number 354. My office hours this semester are Monday and Wednesday, 1 to 3:30 p.m. I'm also available at lots of other times throughout the week, but you can definitely find me in my office during that time period. In terms of what happens next after you reach out to me, you should expect to hear back from me, either a phone call or an email or a text within 24 hours. Typically, I don't respond quite that quickly on the weekends. If you text me on Friday or Saturday, you probably will not hear back from me until Monday, because on the weekends I do try to have a life. But there are lots of ways that you can reach out, and I look forward to hearing from you over the course of the semester. Any questions welcome, whether it's about the content of the course itself or any kind of housekeeping questions about the way that the course is working. I'd like to open up by telling you a little bit about who I am. You'll hear a lot of me. I don't tend to put my face on the screen when I'm doing these virtual lectures, but I think it helps to connect a little bit when we can put some personality and some background to the voice that's coming over the screen. I do like to open up the semester by telling you a little bit about who I am. If we were in class together, you'd be doing the same thing. As it is, I'll be reading your introductions through your discussion post, which are due by the end of the first week. But this is kind of my introduction where I'd like to tell you a little bit more about me. First of all, this is a picture of me with some members of my extended family. It's hard for me to talk about anything I do without starting with my family. They are the root of pretty much everything that's important to me, and they guide most of my decisions through my life. This is a picture that includes some extended family that we were fortunate enough to spend some time with recently, and also my two teenagers are in the picture as well as my husband of 23 years. So this family is the core of who I am and why I do what I do. And then these are my dogs. Sniff is on the right, Boogie's on the left. They are small, white, fluffy, and very spoiled. We do a lot of walking. They bark like idiots most of the day. So if you ever hear barking in the background during one of these virtual lectures, chances are it's Boogie, who's the slightly smaller one on the left. Water. So if I ever disappear in the middle of a semester and you can't find me and nobody knows where I've gone, it's probably because I found an affordable place to live on the water. It's definitely where I try to go on vacation. I'm not quite sure how I ended up living in the desert when I'm such a fan of communities near water, but I do try to get there on vacation whenever I can. And then Vegas. I moved here for 2 years in the year 2000. Obviously stayed quite a bit longer than I had expected. Both of my kids are born and raised here. My mom never stops reminding me that my 2 years are well up and that she'd like me to move back to the East Coast. But this really is home for me and my family. And then finally, this is a picture of a teaching award that I got a couple of years ago. And I included this here because this one's especially important to me because it came from students who voted on the award, students like you. And this is because I included this here because teaching is really important to me. I love my job, I love public health, and I love to teach. So really it is the best possible job for me. But I work really hard on my teaching to make sure that my content stays up to date. I try new things in terms of making the class work for students of all different kinds of learning styles and backgrounds. If there's anything about the course that is not working for you, please reach out and let me know. I do try to make it as easy to navigate and as clear as possible. I'm trying to help you get your schedule set and your routine set for this semester. I'd love to hear from you if it's working, if it's not working well, so I can see if I can help you out. Or if there's something that really is working well, let me know so I can make sure that I hold on to it for future students. So there's a little bit about me. I'll look forward to learning more about you when I read your introduction posts. So our agenda for the rest of this quick lecture for the beginning of the class, we'll talk through a little bit of the syllabus, some important things to know. I'll count on you to read most of that on your own. We'll talk about technology needs. That's especially important because of the online nature of our class. We're going to talk a little bit about the SMART textbook that we'll be using, McGraw-Hill's Connect's LearnSmart platform, and then we'll walk through a typical week. So starting with the review of the syllabus, I'm not going to spend too much time here in our virtual lecture going through it, but do know that I expect that you'll read it carefully this first week. We don't have a lot of academic content to cover because I want to make sure that we get this sort of thing, the syllabus review, the technology setup squared away before we start digging into our material. So take some time, read through it carefully, and definitely reach out with any questions. The expectations that I have for you and the expectations that you can have for me are laid out pretty carefully in that document. A few policies that you might want to pay some special attention to because they might be different than other instructors that you've worked with. First, my policy on extra credit. I don't usually offer it, and really in this class there are not, I wouldn't expect that there'd be any opportunity to earn extra credit. I find that students who do it don't need it. They tend to be the students who already have very high grades, and that the students who need it to bring their grades up don't tend to be the students who do it. So to save us all some extra work, I don't tend to offer those kinds of assignments. Also, please check my policy on late work. I don't accept late work. If the work is not turned in before the deadline, then it's not graded. The only exception here is that I do have a late pass system that will offer you an automatic 4-day extension several times this semester. So please make sure you check out that section of the syllabus and make sure you know how that works in case you need it. And then finally, just a quick word about academic integrity. As a fellow rebel, I did all of my graduate work here. Academic integrity is very important to me. You'll note that some of your written assignments have to be turned in through Turnitin for that originality check. And that's just to make sure that we're upholding those high academic standards for the university and making sure that the quality of the degrees that we all receive remains very high. Okay, so let's walk through where the points become available over the course of the semester. We'll start this week with a quick introduction post that'll be worth 5 points. And then we'll be looking at the Learn Smart assignments. This is that ebook platform that I mentioned earlier, the McGraw-Hill Connect platform. For each chapter, you'll be completing the practice questions from the Learn Smart platform. They're linked through Canvas or Web Campus, so you can just go ahead and click on that, and it'll bring up a screen that will walk you through the content from the Smart Book. Each of those 18 chapters are worth 5 points, so that's 90 points from those Learn Smart assignments. And then there'll also be 9 weeks over the course of the semester when you'll need to complete a discussion question. Discussion questions are worth 10 points each. 9 of those gets us to another 90 points. Please make sure that you take the time to review the guidelines for discussion posts and the sample of an A-level discussion post in the Week 1 folder. You'll have 3 additional written assignments over the course of the semester, 3 separate papers. Those are a 2-page minimum, and those are worth 20 points each, so it's another 60 points for those papers. And then we'll take 3 exams. These are multiple choice exams worth 25 points each for a total of 75. So that gets us up to 320 points for undergraduate students. If you are in the cross-listed graduate section, then you do have an additional paper that's worth another 50 points. If you have any questions about that, again, please feel free to reach out either by email or phone call or text. I'd be happy to help you out however I can. Let's talk a little bit about technology needs. Again, it's an online class, so we've got to make sure that we have the technology set up to be successful. In order to successfully complete this class, you'll definitely have to have access to Web Campus or Canvas. You should if you have access to this video. And you'll also need to be able to play audio for the recorded or virtual lectures that are available for each chapter. You'll also need to access the McGraw-Hill Connect platform. That's where those Learn Smart learning activities from the Smart Book will come from. And you'll also want to make sure that you set your Web Campus reminders to either an email or a phone that you check regularly. I'll be communicating a lot by announcement, especially in the early weeks of the course, just to make sure everybody's up to date on the schedule. And it really would be in your best interest to make sure you have that set up so that you can get those announcements and get those reminders so you can get your work in on time. So a little bit more about that Learn Smart platform. This is a true interactive textbook that McGraw-Hill has available for health studies of dangerous drugs. It is a little bit on the expensive side, and I do apologize for that, but I survey students almost every semester about whether or not they enjoyed the platform, and I get overwhelmingly positive feedback about this textbook option. So you will need to make sure that you purchase either an online access code or a new book that has online access bundled with it. The easiest way to do this is to just access it through Web Campus the first time. Click on one of the assignments, it'll connect you to the McGraw-Hill platform, and you can go ahead and make that purchase. If you are purchasing your books through the bookstore, through scholarship or whoever that might be working. Just make sure that the new book comes with that Connect access. It almost always does, so you should be fine. Once you're set up with the McGraw-Hill Connect platform, you'll be completing 1 to 2 modules a week, each of those worth 5 points. And there'll be 1 per chapter. To actually get those questions started, you'll be clicking the practice button. This is usually in the lower left-hand corner of the screen. If you have any questions as you get going, feel free to reach out. I do have some step-by-step instructions available on Web Campus in that week 1 folder. It's called Getting Started with LearnSmart, and it walks you through some screenshots and that sort of thing about getting that connection between Web Campus and LearnSmart established. If you have any questions or problems while you're going through this process, you can always reach out to McGraw-Hill's tech support team. Numbers available right there on the slide. Inevitably, over the course of the semester, something will go wrong with technology. Canvas goes down sometimes, the Connect platform goes down, maybe it's your laptop that dies. Let's just accept that over the course of the semester, something's going to go wrong, and we'll be prepared for it. My first piece of advice is to communicate early and often. If we're coming up on the deadline for the paper and your laptop dies, please make sure that you email me from your phone or friend's computer and let me know that you're beginning to have issues. Anytime that you can let me know before the assignment is due, before the deadline, the outcome tends to be more positive. And then also take the initiative to reach out to the appropriate tech support staff. There's some more information in the syllabus about how exactly to establish that you've done that, but you can either reach the McGraw-Hill Connect team, the number on the previous slide, or our own help desk, 702-895-0777. And with that initiative, we'll be more likely to be able to get the assignment resolved for you and make sure you get the points, despite the technology issues. Okay, let's walk through a typical week. This will be most of the weeks of the semester, except for this first week, which is our getting things set up week, and then our exam weeks. You'll have some assigned reading, either a chapter or 2. You can get that if you decide to purchase the hard copy book. You can do the reading in the hard copy book, but you can also do the reading through the online platform, so you don't need that hard copy unless you want it. Once the reading's done, then you want to complete those LearnSmart modules that we talked about, either 1 or 2. Those are due by Sunday at midnight. They tend to be available for a week or 2 before the due date, so if you have an especially busy week coming up and you want to try to get that done ahead of time, you should have access to those well in advance of the due date. Then you're going to go ahead and listen to the virtual lecture. These are available through Web Campus on YouTube. And as you go through the lectures, you can complete the study guides. Keep in mind, the study guides are not handed in. Those are for your benefit, but they are definitely the best way to prepare for the exams. After you've done your reading, your LearnSmart modules, and the virtual lectures, then you'll complete the discussion posts. There'll be, again, 9 weeks in the semester when you'll be doing these. Discussion posts are worth 10 points each. For the purposes of discussion, you're going to be broken up into smaller groups of about 8 people. I find this makes it easier to keep track of what your classmates are saying, stay up to date with posts. Again, see those discussion post guidelines in the week 1 folder to get a sense of what those main posts should look like. The main post is always due by Wednesday at midnight, and that post, there's 6 points that can be earned through posting a high quality main post and following the guidelines. In addition to posting the main post by Wednesday of those weeks, you'll also need to post 2 replies to group members by Sunday at midnight. Each of those replies worth 2 points, gets us to that total of 4, and then 10 for the week. Please reach out if you have any questions about this. I've tried to make the process as clear as I can in Web Campus, but I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Okay, that about wraps us up. I just want to walk back through quickly the things that you'll need to be doing for this week. First, make sure you get that McGraw-Hill Connect account set up so you can access your LearnSmart assignments. Starting the second week of the semester, you'll have those assignments due, so we need to make sure that the access has been set up and that your account's completed. There's a very small, very brief assignment called Connect to Connect that you'll do the first week. This is a simple one-word answer. A true or false kind of thing, just to verify that the connection has been made and that the points are transferring over to Web Campus properly. Again, check your announcements and how they're set up on Canvas. Make sure you're getting those updates so that you can get my helpful deadline announcements through the first couple of weeks. And then finally, make sure that you complete your introduction post. Like most things over the course of the semester, that will be due by Sunday, by midnight on Sunday. Thanks so much for your time, and I look forward to working with you this semester.